Hey everyone, what's up? It's a nice 40-degree morning here in November, and my tractor is broke down. Lost all my hydraulic fluid while bush hogging. Show you what happened. All right, so I was cleaning up this area. This is an old pond area where some trees were taken out and we had piled up and burned, and I was just coming down here to use the grapple and the bush hog and move some of the debris, repile it up, clean it up a little bit, get rid of some of the overgrowth. And while I was doing that, I noticed I lost the transmission. I lost the gear, the drive in the tractor. And I hopped out and I noticed hydraulic fluid was on the ground, and which is never a good thing. And if you look up in here, right there, you can see there is a huge hole in the transmission filter. So something, as I was going through here, hit the absolute worst spot underneath of the tractor, and man, within a minute, I think pretty certain I lost the entire hydraulic fluid out of the tractor. So we're gonna do a little field repair today. I have my spare filter. I'm gonna try and get that one off, get the spare on, and fill it back up with some fluid, and hopefully we're good to go. Let's get started. All right, so as you can see, once that filter is punctured, hydraulic fluid sprayed everywhere. So I'm gonna try and clean up the underside of the tractor as best I can. But yeah, it went everywhere. So typically when you take this filter off, you're kind of running against the clock, because when you take the filter off, normally you're going to have full fluid in there, and it's going to come gushing out when you take the filter off. I'm guessing I lost most of my fluid, so I'm not expecting a whole lot of fluid to come out after I take this filter off. But I do have a replacement filter here ready to go. This particular filter is not a Kioti. It's a Wix 551621, which is a cross-reference replacement for this filter. Normally I stick with Kioti brand just to make sure I don't have any problems, but I did not have any extra filters on hand, and so I had to run to a local Napa warehouse that had a couple of these on hand. So that's what we're going to do, is get the old one off, get this one on, and go from there. All right. And that filter was nice and easy to get off because I have replaced this before. There is a little bit of fluid leaking out, so maybe I didn't lose everything. We'll see. Go ahead and get this filter ready. I'm gonna catch a little bit of the oil just to put on the seal. All right. It's always a good idea to oil your seals, your gaskets. Makes it a lot easier to get the filter back off at some point in the future. Yeah, there's definitely not a lot of oil coming out. I'm pretty sure she is empty. There we go. And yeah, there is no oil coming out. And lesson learned here is to have spare filters on hand and ready to go. I did not, and so I had to travel probably an hour and a half, round trip to get the filter. By the time that happened, all the oil had drained out. There's plenty of time for the oils to drain out, so I'm most likely going to have to put almost a full 5 gallons back into this. All right, so now I've got it hand tight, and so I just want to do another half turn with it being half tight. So I'll try and do that now. And there we go. You really don't need it any tighter than that. It's just going to make it harder to get off. That's plenty of pressure for that. So I'm just going to clean up around the filter now with some paper towels and put some fluid back in it. Alright, I think that's good enough for now. I'll definitely want to come back and try and get it a little bit better. There's a lot of oil sprayed under here, which won't hurt anything. There's really no issue with it. It's just going to attract dirt and keep the underside of the tractor a little bit, probably harder to keep it clean. But alright, so now we just need to put the hydraulic fluid back in and give her a go. Alright, so now we're at the back of the tractor, and this orange cap is what we're going to want to remove, and that's where we're going to fill the tractor back up with hydraulic fluid. I went ahead and pulled it off before, checked it. It's absolutely bone dry, as expected. So we're going to hook our funnel up to there, and then go ahead and pour in our hydraulic fluid. Check our level. I don't know exactly how much has leaked out of the tractor. It's a little over 5 gallon capacity, I believe. So we're gonna have to put some in and then check it, and some in and check it. So might take a little bit, but anyway, let's get started. And this is a great funnel. It's all metal or some sort of metal, but the spigot is very flexible and it's firm, and so you can bend it. I got this at Fleet Farm, yeah. But you can bend that to really any angle you need. It's plenty long, and so you can see, my hole for the hydraulic fluid is down here, but I'm able to really bend that and put the funnel up in a position that's a lot more convenient. I can easily pour into this, and this funnel will almost with no hands stay right where you need it. So I'm gonna go ahead and pour in a 2 gallon container. I'm just using tractor, trans, and hydraulic fluid. I normally use Mobi fluid, and it's a good fluid. What I do, I need this 2.5 gallon because I'm going to transfer. It's really hard to pour from 5 gallon. So I'm going to pour this 2 gallon in first and then transfer from the 5 gallon back to this 2 gallon and go from there. Oop. All right, so that's the end of the first 2 gallons. So we're going to go ahead and take that filter out, check our level, make sure that we're not close, and then go ahead and continue. Another thing to note, we are not on level ground. So, you know, I'm going to go ahead and get it to where it does show up on the middle of the dipstick here, which is a normal level. But I know I'm not on level ground, so that'll be enough and good enough to get me out back up to the house. I'll get on level ground and then recheck it again. But as of now, it is not showing up on the dipstick. So the dipstick is still dry. So, which is what I was expecting, because I'm pretty sure I lost all my fluid. But yeah, it is still dry. There's nothing showing up there. So I'm going to go ahead and get my 5 gallon bucket, transfer some to the 2 gallon, and pour another couple gallons in. All right, so here's a quick little tip on how to transfer fluid from a 5 gallon pail into a smaller container here. It's very hard to pour fluid out of these without spilling it all over, and so an easy way to do it is set the bucket, get your spout open and rotate the bucket so the spout's at the top, so your fluid, you do that, your fluid won't come out. Get your smaller container below it with a funnel. It's a little bit windy today, so it's a little bit more likely to make a mess, but what you can do now is then rotate the bucket. As you rotate the bucket, the spigot becomes lower, and then you can then control the flow of the fluid coming out of your 5 pail bucket just by rotating the bucket up to reduce flow and rotating the bucket down to increase flow. And so that's a very easy way to almost make no mess and easily get your fluid from a 5 gallon pail to some smaller pail. All right, so we're back. Got another 1.5 gallons or so. Gonna go ahead and add some, then recheck level as we go. Alright, stop there. See if we got anything registering yet. I'm guessing no. And we do. We do. I don't know if you can see this on the video, but let's put this back in. I'll show you. So, if I take this, dab it, you see it's wet where I dabbed. So we're not quite up to that line yet, but we are getting close. And so I'm going to put in just a little bit more, and I think we're going to be good to start it back up and check for leaks, make sure there's nothing else going on, and I'll be able to get it out of here. Probably be good if I take the cap off, huh? All right, last check. Yep, so we're good. All right, so now we have fluid back in the tractor. The levels look good. Definitely just have some cleanup to do. Need to wipe it down and get rid of the excess oil that's dripping. And you can see just how far this oil had sprayed. That's insane. It's crazy. All over. Crazy. So what we're going to do now is go ahead and start the tractor up on low RPM and just walk around and check for some leaks. So let's go ahead and do that. So, we're running good. No leaks there. That all looks good. So, here's the transmission filter, or the hydraulic filter. So that one isn't leaking, so that's good. So, I don't see any leaks anywhere. Yeah, so, looks good. Repair's all done. So the lesson here is, if something can go wrong, it probably will. So be prepared. Have extra filters, parts, fluid. Have all that on hand if you're going to have a piece of equipment like this. Because like I said, if something can go wrong, you got my luck, it will. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time.